So over the last day and a half, we've heard a lot about some of the different challenges associated with scaling up delivery, research, commercialization, production, and innovation across this space. And I think one of the key takeaways and one of the things that's been nice to see from my perspective sitting here has been that core to pretty much all of the solutions that our panelists and our speakers have come up with. Core to all of that is collaboration across this industry. And not to steal Daniel's line from his presentation about Montreal, but Canada does have all the pieces, and it's just about putting those pieces together. So I'm proud to introduce our next speaker, who is here to talk to us about preclinical and research partnerships within the Canadian radiopharmaceutical landscape. So I'd like to welcome Martin Poirier, who's the Vice President of the Centre for Probe Development and Commercialization.
Hi, I'm Martin Poirier. I'm the Vice President of Contract Research at CPDC. I come with 25 years of experience working with various contract research organizations in the discovery, preclinical, and clinical space. And today I hope that I can share some of my experience as to why it matters to partner with a CRO. Now, I'm based in Vancouver myself, and as you know, CPDC is in Ontario, so I think I'm doing my part for the Coast to Coast initiative and the team of this summit. Now, in terms of radiopharmaceuticals, so fresh on the heels of Pluvicto's approval and success, I think there's been a lot of growth in this sector. And that rapid growth has created some gaps as well. So today I'm going to talk about some of those gaps and what CPDC and others are doing to address those gaps, and that's all happening through collaborations. And I keep thinking about James' opening remarks yesterday, where at some point he said that we are stronger when we are united, and I fully agree with that, and I think that aligns very well with some of the key messages from my presentation today. So first, just a quick review of the targeted radiopharmaceutical therapy pipeline. So most of you know this, so I'll go quickly on this, but there's over 40 companies developing TRTs at the moment, over 100 compounds in development, and there's 45 programs at clinical stage already. So that highlights the rapid growth in this sector for radiopharmaceutical development. And there's new players coming in as well, new and existing players moving into this field and addressing new targets and new indications. As we see on the table on the right side, there's a lot of new targets and indications in development. So there's definitely a lot of interest in this sector. A lot of companies see the huge opportunity. But this is creating as well, it's creating a lot of pressure on the academia, industry, regulators. There's a need for investment, and it does create some gaps in the nuclear medicine ecosystem. For example, in the workforce, I think many have talked about the labor shortage and the need for specialized skills and expertise. And you might have seen the press release yesterday from CPDC that we're partnering with Lab to Market. So hopefully that's going to contribute to developing the next cohort of talent by helping radiopharmaceutical scientists to bring their product to market and contribute to training for the workforce. There's also some gaps in drug development, especially in the service area. So as there's more interest in developing radiopharmaceuticals, there's going to be a need for increased service offerings in the CDMO and CRO space. I think that's going to be critical. There also needs to be more companies developing radiopharmaceuticals. And the next slide, I'm going to show some of the gaps in the early stage and preclinical research. So there's, as you know, and as has been discussed before, the developing radiopharmaceuticals, there's an additional layer of complexity. It has to do, for example, with the half-life, so you need to consider the geographical location of your production centers in relation to the clinical testing centers. So that's going to be a key factor. But also there's we think there's a lack of strategic advice in this sector, and there's long wait times for service, a high cost of services, and generally the radiopharmaceutical requires specialized experience and expertise, which is lacking in the moment. So I think overall the service area is lagging behind with the renewed interest in the radiopharmaceutical and the huge activity in this sector at the moment. So with these slides, we've seen some of the gaps in the ecosystem. So now I'm going to talk about some of the advantages of working with a CRO. So I'm going to go quickly on this, but basically a CRO provides you with resources that may not be available internally, such as facilities, equipment, or specialized skill and expertise. So that's one of the key factors, but very importantly as well is the cost savings aspect and the faster time to market. So there's research that has shown that partnering with a CRO provides you with significant cost savings and as well as bringing your product to market faster. And I think that's the cost savings is mainly due to the fact that CROs are very efficient at what they do. They run specialized types of studies over and over, and they constantly improve the processes and make things more efficient. So that's one of the key factors. And as for time to market, having your product to market faster, it definitely provides a greater revenue potential. And that's two of the key factors, cost savings and time to market, in my opinion. And CPDC wants to help. We want to leverage our expertise in radiopharmaceuticals and leverage our network, and we want to be a preclinical partner that's going to help you to bring your compound to market faster. So to that effect, I'm really excited to announce today that later this summer, CPDC will launch a preclinical and discovery CRO. So on this slide, we see some of the services that are going to be offered, but essentially we're going to offer consulting and advisory services, which is an extension of the services that CPDC already offers. We're going to have lab testing for in vivo, in vitro screening, lead optimization, and we're going to cover everything basically from early stage research to discovery to preclinical all the way to IND. And an important aspect as well is going to be the reporting and project management. I think project management is key to keep things moving, keep things on time, and to ensure efficient communication. So here we see a little bit more details about some of the services that are going to be offered, the lab services. So there's going to be formulation and chemistry, in vitro screening, in vivo studies as well for efficacy, biodistribution, dosimetry, and toxicology, as well as some imaging support. So more details are going to be communicated later this summer, but in a nutshell, that's a high-level overview of the services that we're going to offer through this new CRO initiative. So there's a lot of key players in this area, in the nuclear medicine ecosystem. They're doing great things already, and with this new CRO, we want to further strengthen the ecosystem to make a difference. So here, that's some of the benefits that this CRO will bring to the sector. So it's going to be a full range of preclinical radiopharmaceutical CRO services with complete advisory and consulting and project management support. So we think it's going to make a big difference in providing strategic support from the radiopharmaceutical industry experts. It's going to provide priority access to top quality CROs through our partners, and the project managers will make sure that things remain on time and progressing, and that communication is efficient. And we think overall this is going to alleviate some of the pain points and gaps that we saw previously, such as long wait times and the need for specialized and strategic advice and expertise. So again, that's some of the highlights and the difference that we think this is going to make. So basically, we want to be a partner with whom to collaborate to progress your compound and to help you succeed. And if my long experience in the CRO has taught me anything, is that partnering with a CRO makes a real difference, and partnering early makes an even bigger difference. And I think that's something that I've seen so many success stories over my career where this made a difference, and that's through a shared understanding of the science, of some of the challenges, and through working toward a common goal. So to conclude, I just wanted to take a few minutes to mention that for me, there's no doubt that the introduction of safer, more efficient therapies are going to benefit the Canadian patients in the long term. And I think looking at the ecosystem as a whole and making sure that all the pieces are there and moving in the right direction and moving toward a common goal, I think that's key to ensuring that we bring better products to the patients, Canadian patients, faster and more efficiently. And I think the CRO business is going to be part of the solution to help working toward that goal. The industry must continue to work on the services, the supply and manufacturing, commercialization. I think that's important to scale up with the increased interest in developing radiopharmaceuticals. And I think it's important to scale accordingly. And CPDC wants to be a partner with whom to partner and to collaborate to help you to develop your radiopharmaceuticals and work to success of your product. And lastly, I just want to recap again that I think we, at CPDC, to help towards that goal, we've launched a lab-to-market partnership yesterday. I think partnering with the right company is really important, and through this new CRO initiative that we're going to launch, I think we're going to fill a gap in the service area as well. And lastly, I think it's important to keep collaborating and partnering. I think by meeting here, by talking to each other, by exchanging ideas and sharing needs and information, I think we fulfill some of the gaps that's needed in collaborating, and just by talking to each other, we're designing some of the strategies for the future to make sure that the industry keeps scaling up with the increased need in this area. So I think that's one of the key messages, that we need to keep interacting, sharing information and needs to make this successful. So with that, I want to thank everybody for listening, and I think it's time for coffee break now. So thank you, everybody. Thanks.